Hello, welcome to the Rocky Mountain Association for College Admission Counseling Virtual College Fair. Thank you for joining us today. A few quick housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your cameras and microphones are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening. Be sure to sign up for more at the same place that you signed up for this one. And this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at strivescan.com/RMACAC. I've gotten the housekeeping stuff out of the way, so I will step out of the way now and turn it over to our presenters. First up, we'll hear from the University of Nebraska.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Bridget Lang. I'm with the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I'm the regional recruitment rep based out of Denver, Colorado. So we will just go ahead and jump right in. We are located in Lincoln, Nebraska. We are a part of the Big Ten, so heavy focus in both, athletics, but also big in the research fields. We are a top 75 public research institution, so that does go a long way for our students within the Big Ten, and we are among the lowest tuition in the Big Ten. We have about 26,000 total students on our campus. 21,000 of that is our undergraduate student population. So compared to our Big Ten peers, we are one of the smaller schools within the Big Ten, about a 37 student on average class size. So good small classes, a lot of one-on-one time with the faculty. We have a 17-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We have over 150 different areas of study on our campus. Some of our most popular, we are founded in agriculture. So we have a very strong agricultural basis, as well as biology and environmental science, and big focus in business and engineering at our school as well. So quite a few different opportunities for our students, but those are some of our top programs on campus. And we are about a third of out-of-state students. So you are in good company if you do choose to go out of state. There are a lot of connections on campus that we make with our out-of-state students, so you feel that sense of community immediately coming onto campus. And we do have over 500 different student organizations. So a lot to choose from. We really encourage our students to get involved. It helps connect them to campus, helps them with their career aspirations. So we definitely have a wide variety for students to choose from. And then moving into Lincoln itself, Lincoln is from the Colorado area. We are about a 7.5-hour drive from Denver, not too bad. And we also have an Amtrak that goes directly into downtown Lincoln from Union Station in Denver, and then an airport in Lincoln and in Omaha. Lincoln itself is about 285,000 total people. So again, comparing to our Big Ten peers, we are one of the larger cities, which makes for really great internship and post-graduation job placement for our students. Some of our top internships and job placement for our students that we've had students work with Peter Kiewit, Union Pacific, Google, Microsoft, NASA, Tesla, ExxonMobil, the Chicago Tribune. Huddle has its headquarters in downtown Lincoln. So students who are interested in athletics and marketing, the business world in general, have a really strong internship opportunity in downtown Lincoln, and they have headquarters all over the world, but their main one is in downtown Lincoln. Lincoln's also considered the second most affordable college town in the nation, so that's pretty great for our students once they move off of campus. They do have a really good low cost of living for post-campus life. And if they choose to stick around, Lincoln is a really great town for students to be in, because our city campus is actually located in downtown Lincoln. So you step off campus, it's coffee shops, restaurants, concert venues, a lot of activity happening right next to our students. And it is rated one of the best value schools by the US News for 2021. So for accessibility, affordability, and education, you're getting a fantastic education on our campus. But yeah, a lot of activity happening right around downtown Lincoln and on city campus. Our students are never lacking opportunities for things to do on the weekends. Now, hopping into kind of some more of the admissions requirements and things like that, our application will open on August 1st for the coming year. And it is a personal application we have. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out. We're also on the Common App and the Coalition app for the next year. So you can also go that way if that works best. It's all self-reported information, very straightforward to apply to our school. The deadline for application isn't until May 1st of your senior year. However, if you want best consideration for scholarship purposes, you will want to keep an eye on some of the deadlines and make sure to apply before our February 1st deadline for those leadership and diversity scholarships. The 500-word scholarship statement on our application is due by February 1st, and it is for those leadership and diversity scholarships. It's on the application, or you can do it later if you would like to go back and do it later. But our merit-based scholarships are automatic consideration, and we are test optional for merit-based scholarship consideration. We can consider you just based off of your GPA. If you do have an ACT or SAT score, we highly recommend you send it in to us. It can definitely help boost up your potential for getting scholarships, especially if your GPA is not as high as you'd like it to be. But some of our big scholarships do start around, if you have both GPA and ACT, a 24 on the ACT and a 3.0 GPA starts to get you $13,000 per year taken off of your tuition. So pretty significant price cut there, brings you to within about $2,000 of what our in-state students are paying. So definitely drops you down. And that is kind of the general gist here. So I will move on and let the next person take over.
Thank you very much. I'll remind our attendees, if you have any questions, use the Q&A button at any point to ask questions for any of our reps. Up next, we will hear from Penn State.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katie Immel. I am the out-of-state recruiter for the state of Colorado. So I'm super excited to be here tonight to talk about the school that I love so much. I'm going to jump right in because 6 minutes goes fast. So we are a large Research One institution in the state of Pennsylvania. We were recently ranked within the top 1% of universities worldwide. So out of 18,000 universities, we were recently ranked number 53. We attribute that really to the amount of undergraduate research that we do have on our campuses. Just this past year, we hit $1 billion in undergraduate research. So we're really excited about that. It means you can get started in undergraduate research as early as your first semester, like a lot of the schools here tonight. So I can talk about any of these things. If you have questions, just go ahead and throw it into the Q&A. But I want to go over what we offer at Penn State. We have over 275 different academic programs to choose from, everything from engineering, business, nursing, musical theater, education, and everything else in between. But those are some of our more popular majors. We think it's perfectly fine at 16, 17, 18 years old not to know what you want to study the rest of your life. So you should come into our Division of Undergraduate Studies, commonly referred to as undecided, work with one of our academic advisors for 2 years to start exploring all of your interests, start narrowing down what you're passionate about and what you're really good at, so that after those 2 years, you can find a major that really fits for you. I always do talk about a few direct admit majors. Our musical theater, our architecture, acting, and nursing are programs that you do need to be admitted to directly. So just make sure you're reaching out if you are interested in any of those programs so we can tell you a little bit more about that application process. I'll go into just the general application today. Outside the classroom, we offer over 1,200 clubs and activities. So these range from purely fun to purely academic, social, cultural, religious, service organizations, IM sports, networking, you name it, we've got it. My favorite to talk about is pictured in the background of this slide. It's our 46-hour dance marathon called Thon. It's actually where our students raise money for families with children fighting pediatric cancer. This past year, we actually did hold it virtually, and we were able to raise over $10 million. So it's a really great program. Not that every student is involved, but it is one that our students find as a most popular club to be involved in. Everything I talked about here is available at all 20 of our campuses. So if you're not aware, Penn State does have 20 beautiful, unique campuses spread out throughout the state of Pennsylvania. What this does is that it really allows students to find their right fit. So if they want a Big Ten name, a really recognized school, but they really want more of that smaller liberal arts style on campus, we're going to have a campus for them. It's a little bit easier to see on this map. So you can kind of see that we have some closer like Philadelphia, which is a really large city in Pennsylvania. We have some closer to Pittsburgh, another large city. Smack dab in the middle is University Park. That's our largest campus. That's the one with 46,000 students. So it is a fairly large campus. The other ones range in size from about 500 to about 5,000 students. So we usually say we have small, medium, and extra, extra large. But you can see that all the ones with housing do have on-campus housing. The ones with the red house does have on-campus housing, but it is required for your first year to live on campus, which is pretty important as an out-of-state student to make sure you have a place to live your first year on campus. What the important part is that we are all Penn State, so it doesn't matter where you start or finish your degree, you are going to get a Penn State diploma. A lot of our students, over 50% of them, end up doing our 2+2 plan, where they actually start at one of our smaller campuses for their first 2 years, get their general education, their 100 and 200 level courses, and then transition to University Park to finish their degree. Now, what we need for an online application, or for a full application, is your online application, either through the Common App, the Coalition app, or the My Penn State app. We have no preference. Most students choose the Common App. We also need your self-reported academic record, known as a SRAR. This is where you put all the classes you took and the grades you received from grades 9th, 10th, and 11th, as well as your schedule for grade 12. Those two things are required for all of our applications. We did decide to go test optional until 2023. So if you are a sophomore or a junior listening, you're going to have the option to go test optional. It is completely optional. It's up to you. If you choose to submit it, we will review it as part of our application. If you don't want to submit it, that's okay. It will not hurt you. If you're trying to estimate your eligibility, this chart is semi-helpful. This is our middle 50% of students currently finishing their first year on campus. So you're going to see a difference between University Park and the other Commonwealth campuses. Doesn't mean that it's any harder at University Park. It's just more competitive to get in. So once you're here at whatever campus, it's the same rigor and same classes, but it is harder to get into University Park. So please know that these are averages. They are not hard cutoffs or guarantees of acceptance. Last but not least, I want to talk about our amazing alumni network. We do have the largest alumni network in the world, 700,000 and growing. So that when it comes to internships, jobs, co-ops, we have a really well-known name all over the world, and it really helps us whenever we're getting our students those jobs and internships. So with that, I want to point out two things. First, my email, kimmel@psu.edu. I'll throw it into the chat. Any questions that you guys have, feel free to email me. Also, our admissions.psu.edu/experience has virtual tours, virtual student panels, virtual information sessions, whatever you would need to learn about Penn State in this crazy pandemic. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you very much. Ask questions using the Q&A button at any time. Also, check out the chat in case any of the representatives send you contact info or links using that function. Up next, the University of Minnesota.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rachel Tanner. I'm the National Recruitment Coordinator for the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I'm excited to be here. We too are a member of the Big Ten. We have Division I sports, 900 student groups, Tier 1 research, 150 majors, and we write Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I know y'all are tuned in at this time to learn a little bit more about the University of Minnesota. It would be insincere for me not to acknowledge that in Minneapolis, we recently lost a member of our community. Dante Wright was tragically killed at the hands of the police, and our thoughts are with him, his family, and his friends. Our city is grieving, and that's taken many forms. I believe in the university as an institution, believe that it's important to recognize this loss, as I'm sure it's on your minds as well. If you have any questions at this time regarding our campus or our response, please feel free to reach out to me directly. As you can see from this photo, we are right in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're about a mile outside the downtown. So you're not looking up at the skyscrapers as you go to class, you're always looking at them. This is the main part of our campus. If you catch this train 10 minutes this way, that's the downtown of Minneapolis. 20 minutes the other way is the downtown of St. Paul, which is Minnesota's capital. So you're nestled in between the two largest cities. So you get all the perks of that Big Ten experience, but in between two urban environments. We do work to bring breadth and depth academically, 150 majors, 135 minors, and as well as many graduate and professional programs. So if you're interested in law school, medical school, veterinary program, PT, OT, we do have those on our campus. We can start giving you that pre-professional advising you need right off the bat. And despite our large size, we do try to keep class sizes small. 80% of all classes are 50 students or less. 65% of all classes are 30 students or less. So the big classes are general, so to make sure you have access to them, but we're always going to pair them with a discussion or lab. But the small classes, your major classes, those are more like 30 to 40 students. We are land-grant research institutions. If you are interested in doing research, we can certainly start connecting you with that. Majority of research happening in the state of Minnesota does happen right on our campus. We're going to admit you directly into one of our 8 freshman admitting colleges when you come to Minnesota. So you can choose, and we do this for a variety of reasons. The first is so that we know we're a large institution. We have 31,000 undergraduate students. So we want you to come into a smaller community of scholars surrounded by folks who share some sort of academic interest with you. So it just helps build that community. We also do it for those of you who know exactly what you want to study, or maybe those of you who are still exploring. We've created first-year experience programs to start exposing students to the majors they're interested in right away. So you can start taking major classes that you like, but also take some time to explore before we officially declare in your second year. Our location does make us very popular for business opportunities in our Carlson School of Management and Sport Management program. Our health sciences, including our direct entry nursing, our neuroscience and genetics program, microbiology, biomedical engineering. Our newest is data science, but we also see a lot of out-of-state students looking at political science, of course, psychology, and our animal science students. Like a good Big Ten, we have a lot of opportunities for you all to get involved on campus, 900 student organizations, 200 student cultural groups, and 12 student cultural centers. So academically, interest-based, religious-based, go Greek. However you're looking to navigate campus, there's a lot of ways to find your sense of community on campus. We have a massive study abroad program. In fact, our business school requires that our students study abroad. So we think it's really important for students to have the chance to study abroad. So regardless of the program you come into, if you are interested in studying abroad, we do have a program that works for you to do that and still get out in 4 years. Most of our students do still live on campus their first year. We have 12 residence halls to choose from, and we guarantee you a place to live on campus if you'd like to. However, in your second, third, and fourth year, we often see students exploring off-campus opportunities. Dinkytown and Stadium Village are the neighborhoods that surround our campus, are right across the street. And they're what's going to give us that classic Big Ten college experience. It's where the coffee shops adjust their hours around finals. It's where pizza by the slice is available at almost all hours of the day. There's a lot of affordable student housing options. The homecoming parade goes through there. So really giving that quintessential college town feel, but staying right in Minneapolis. Our location does give our students a huge leg up in terms of professional opportunities. There are 16 Fortune 500 companies that are headquartered in Minneapolis-St. Paul. So places like 3M, Cargill, Target, Medtronic are all right there and constantly recruiting out of our programs. We also have a massive healthcare business opportunities on campus and around campus. In fact, our business school just added a business of healthcare minor because of growing demand. So our students are often able to balance these internships on a Tuesday and Thursday, still go to class Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're big names. So if you come to Minnesota and want to stay here for 4 years or afterwards, great, but also going through a big internship program with somewhere like Target is going to be recognized across the country and across the globe. Minneapolis-St. Paul is also a fun-sized city. We're not a concrete jungle. You're still going to be able to navigate it pretty easily using that light rail. Go catch a baseball game. We have 6 professional sports teams within 10 minutes of campus. We have concert venues with on and around campus. We have the 3rd most theater seats per capita, just behind Chicago and New York City. So if you like going to shows, we're a Broadway test market. So a lot of ways for you to enjoy our campus and the community that surrounds us. It also does make us fairly easy to get to as an out-of-state students. Plenty of direct flights coming from like Denver to come right into our airport, go downstairs, just catch a train. That's the same train that runs through campus. Otherwise, it's about a 20-minute cab ride. We have been named a Great Value Institution by a number of prints. We're really proud of that. That's largely due to those numbers you see at the top there, but also because we have a 13 credit policy, which means that we just charge a flat rate, whether students take 13 or 18 credits per semester. We do have a number of academic merit-based scholarships that are just for out-of-state students. So if you do choose to apply, you're going to be automatically considered for admission for the honors program and for all of our scholarships. The application itself is available through the Common App or our own Golden Gopher application. We just need the app, the fee, and then self-report your grades and courses. We have gone no test required for fall 2022 again, and we haven't made any decisions past that. But if you're a rising senior, you can apply with no test score and still full consideration for admission, honors, and scholarships. We do have 3 deadlines here. You can see them at the bottom. Full consideration for all 3 if you choose to apply by January 1st. The big one is if you're interested in nursing, be sure to get it in by November 1st. Thank you very much for your time today. I'll drop my contact info in the room.
Thank you very much. And again, look in the chat for info coming to you from the representatives. Any questions? Use the Q&A tab. Up next, Michigan State.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Is this showing or no? Maybe. I hope so.
It is.
Okay, good. I don't see the green around it. You'd think by now I'd know. So hi, you guys. My name is Aspen Arnold. I am one of the regional admissions counselors for Michigan State University. MSU, sorry guys, I got a new mouse today too, so exciting. MSU is a Big Ten research university located in East Lansing, Michigan, just miles away from the state capital of Lansing. I think you're going to hear some very similar trends as you've heard from some of our Big Ten peers that are on tonight. With almost 50,000 total students on a campus, you'll see our self-contained campus feels almost like a small city within itself. Spartans come from all 50 states and more than 140 different countries around the world. In fact, 24% of our students hail from outside of the state of Michigan. Whether you're completely undecided about your degree path, have comfortably declared a major, or you fall somewhere in between, MSU is a destination where you can explore. We offer over 200 majors across 17 different degree granting colleges. When I'm working with my out-of-state students, they're often drawn to us for the Eli Broad College of Business, which is the 13th ranked public business school in the nation. Our College of Engineering, which is the fastest growing engineering program in the entire nation. Or our College of Natural Sciences and their associated pre-health programs. You'll also find a law school as well as 3 medical schools, including one of the top veterinary schools in the nation on our campus. As a top 100 global university, we're home to 35 undergraduate programs that rank in the top 25 nationally. So you'll find things like astrophysics, game development, data science, packaging, food science on our campus. And so you'll see those top ranked programs across all 200 majors. At MSU, being at MSU means that you have the opportunity to learn outside of the classroom as well. And so students are actively engaged in internships, volunteer opportunities, as well as research. Domestic out-of-state students automatically receive our Presidential Study Abroad stipend, which is a one-time award for $3,000 or $5,000, depending on your program, that can be used to take advantage of one of our education abroad programs. You'll see here we have 275 programs that are offered on all 7 continents. And you can get involved in that as soon as you're admitted to MSU. Speaking of activities that you can get involved in as soon as you step foot on campus, when it comes to academic research, any student across any major has the opportunity to participate in research, and honors college students have access as early as their first week on campus. They can find opportunities on our undergraduate research website or connect with professors to create their own research projects. In addition to this, I really like to talk about our living and learning communities on campus, which are geared towards specific majors. As a big university, I think this is a great opportunity for our students to find kind of their tribe at MSU. 3 of our living and learning communities are specifically considered residential colleges and have smaller learning environments where students have access to their professors' offices and classrooms in their residence halls buildings, and live with similar students studying a similar major. These residential colleges are on a first come, first served basis, and they don't require additional applications or GPA requirements. So those 3 residential colleges include Lyman Briggs College, which is for students interested in math, science, or computer sciences. We also have James Madison College for students interested in political science, pre-law, constitutional democracy, public policy, or international relations. And then that 3rd residential college is going to be the Residential College in Arts and Humanities for those students looking for a liberal arts degree within a Big Ten environment. So maybe students interested in fine and performing arts, literature, languages, history, and civic engagements. Each of your admissions counselors would be happy to talk to you about those opportunities in more details. Our campus itself is located on the banks of the Red Cedar River. Campus is home to botanical gardens, art museums, performing arts venues, Big Ten athletics, recreation sports facilities, and even our own student-ran hotel. With over 900 student organizations across campus, there really is something for everyone. And if you can't find what you like in terms of student orgs, you can always form your own student organization. One of my favorite aspects of campus is going to be the fact that we have 12 miles of bike trails. And so for our students, we have the MSU Bike Store where students can rent a bike daily, weekly, monthly, or even by semester or academic academic year. And that cost will include maintenance. You can go in and get your bike tuned right there on campus. Our application is a holistic application process and opens in early August. You'll find us on our own application as well as the Common App and the Coalition app. Really important to point out that we are test optional for the next 5 years, so no need to submit test scores. We're also test optional when it comes to review for scholarships as well as the Honors College. As you heard from our colleagues, we too do not require a separate application for the Honors College or for scholarships. Thanks so much for joining, and I will drop my information in the chat.
Thank you very much. So look for that information in the chat. Also ask questions using the Q&A button. Up next, let's hear from the University of Iowa.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Trado. I'm one of the associate directors here at the University of Iowa. I am, unlike some of my peers tonight, which I'm proud to be on the same stage as all my Big Ten peers. I'm based in Iowa City, but still have the opportunity to travel throughout the United States, and Colorado is part of my territory, and I've been recruiting the West Coast for about 10 years now. So thanks again for joining us. You're going to see on the screen currently our campus, and I think it's important to showcase it. In the front, in the middle here, you can see our old Capitol, which is the showcase hallmark of our campus. It's surrounded by 4 other buildings, which makes it the Pentacrest. You can also see in the middle of this photo a blue river, or brown/blue river. There's a river that runs through the middle of our campus. It offers us 2 sides. On the bottom of the screen is the primary part of our campus. On the top of the screen is what we call the west side, which, as you can see, many of those buildings up there are why a lot of students consider us, and that's the home of the University of Iowa Hospitals and Clinics, one of the largest hospitals on a college campus in the United States. It also is home for all of our athletics. It's on the top of the screen as well. And on the very bottom, right across this main street there is our downtown area, which has over 100 restaurants, bookstores, nightlife, everything you want your college experience is right across the street, which our students find super convenient as well. We are nestled in between major metro areas, within a couple hours from Chicago, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Milwaukee, Kansas City, Omaha, to name a few. All right, who fills up the walls at the university? As you can see, we have just over 31,000 total students. That makes us one of the smallest Big Ten universities. We have just over 4,500 first-year students this past year. We're really close to that 50-50 mark with regards to residents and non-residents. On the right-hand side, you can see our averages for GPA and for our ACT and or SAT. Academics on campus, we offer over, as you can see, over 200 areas of study. And some of our most popular majors for incoming first-year students are Tippie College of Business, or the business majors in the College of Engineering, Sports and Recreation Management, English and Creative Writing. We are home to the world-renowned Writers Workshop, which is a master's program here on our campus, as well as all the health sciences, such as neuroscience, nursing, public health, and medicine. How do you apply if you decide to look at the University of Iowa? Our application, similar to some of our peers, open up in August. There are 3 ways that a student could apply: our institutional application, the common application, and or the coalition application as well. So we do admit on a rolling basis. However, we will have a November 1 early action deadline this fall if somebody chooses to apply before then. On the right-hand side, you will see our transparent formula. If a student has a test score, whether it's the ACT or SAT, we put everything into a blender, if you will, and it kicks back a score. We look at your ACT or SAT score, your GPA. We will use a weighted GPA if you have one, and your number of high school core classes, your academic classes, if you will. So the more of those academic classes you take, the better it makes you look on a piece of paper, if you will, for admission purposes. So that's if you have a test score. Proud to say again, we will be test optional or test flexible again this next year as well. We have not decided yet on the future years. So things to consider when you're applying. We will do a pretty fairly quick turnaround as well, like some of our peers, since we are self-reporting, could make a decision within a week after the application if everything is in totality. A little more about the academics on our campus. We are a 34th best public university in the United States by U.S. News and World. That puts us in the top 5%. And again, we're fortunate to have many of our Big Ten peers alongside us. 15-to-1 student to faculty. I usually hang my hat that about 79, 80% of our classes have less than 30 students. So you still get the big school experience. There will be some intimacy with regards to your classroom sizes that you will be able to get to know your peers as well as your faculty and staff as well. And then again, like I mentioned, 200 areas of study to be able to get involved with. And then finally, like many of my peers have been saying tonight, it's also about the experience. Multiple clubs and organizations on campus, the thrill, if you will, of going to game days. This is a picture that I'm showcasing right now of historic Kinnick Stadium. The reason why I think this is also important right now is we've been really fortunate to get a lot of publicity with regards to the building that's to the left, and that's the Stead Family Children's Hospital. If you haven't seen it before, try to Google it or watch it. At the end of the first quarter for every one of our home football games, the teams, both teams, including the visiting team, officials, and all the fans in the stands will turn around and wave for about 25 seconds to all the kiddos who are at the top floor of the Stead Family Children's Hospital. And so it's a really emotional, impactful event that I'm really proud to be part of. So that was quick. Here's the information on how to get a hold of us. We appreciate you joining us this afternoon/evening, depending on where you're from. And I'll go ahead and post my information here in the chat as well shortly. So thanks again for your time this evening.
Thank you very much. And Chris mentioned the chat. That's where you can find information from our reps that they're sending to you. Also, the Q&A is where you can ask questions. Up next, let's hear from Ohio State.
All right, thanks for sticking around. You've made it to the end. My name is Caitlin James. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the Regional Recruitment Manager for The Ohio State University. I am based out on the West Coast. I am covering for a colleague of mine who covers Colorado. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We are happy to help. Something that's important that I would like to read out in something that's true to any member of the admission staff that you interact with at The Ohio State University. But as members of The Ohio State University, we condemn anti-Black racism, anti-Asian, Pacific Islander, and DC American racism, and racism in all of its forms. We are committed to engaging, interrupting, and dismantling institutionalized racist structures. Ohio State's mission to prepare students to be leaders and engaged citizens calls for us to demand and support change. If you have any questions about the things that Ohio State is doing in those efforts, please don't hesitate to reach out to the link on the screen there. So as the third largest public institution in the country, like many of my Big Ten peers said, we have something unique to offer, but something similar. And kind of some of the things that set us apart are going to be things that I'll share with you today. But we have over 200 different majors, 500 different specializations, 13,000 course offerings, but we still offer to have a student to faculty ratio of about 19:1. So if you are, wanting to still have that smaller experience, you are more than welcome to have that at Ohio State too. If you're not really sure what you want to go into, perfectly fine. I actually highly encourage coming in undecided because there's so much to explore, especially within our university exploration, our undeclared major. But you can see all of the different academic offerings. I highly recommend checking out majors.osu.edu. It'll give you a comprehensive detail of all the different majors that we have, some contact information, classes that you might take, career outcomes from there as well, internship opportunities. So it's going to be really comprehensive. And if you're already thinking about the next steps, we do have a law school, a dental school, a med school, and a vet school all on our campus. So that's certainly something wonderful for us to be able to offer to you as a student. If you're thinking about rankings and kind of some of those things, this is some of what we have to offer. We offer quite a few students end up going on to Fulbright, Goldwater scholars, so a lot of Rhodes scholars as well. So our students are accomplishing some really incredible things and being able to do that, starting off with research as early as their first year. So there's a lot of things that our students are able to do, career fairs, things like that. We have over 50 career fairs every single year because Ohio State is large enough to attract a lot of different employers, no matter the major that you might be interested in studying. So experiential learning and taking that outside of the classroom is something really important to us too. So we want you to get in that experience with internships, with studying abroad, taking your education all around the world. Creative expression, you don't have to be in the arts program to be able to pursue the arts through our Wexner Center of Arts. There's a lot of different things our students are able to accomplish. One cool thing that's neat is every single entering freshman gets an Apple iPad as part of their incoming freshman experience. You get to keep that all 4 years as long as you graduate from Ohio State. You might use that in class, but also throughout your studies at Ohio State too. We do have a nationally ranked first-year experience program, and we also continue on that engagement as you transition through college into your second year. In your first year, you'll meet your peer leader, and they're that person to kind of support you throughout that entire year, that person to lean on for any questions that you have, because they want to see you transition well and in a positive way. And then you'll lean on faculty members through our STEP program in that second year. There's also a scholarship or a stipend alongside that, so definitely recommend continuing with that engagement. A couple other programs I want to highlight. If you are interested and passionate about diversity-based leadership, social justice, and service, we want to hear from you. Apply for our Moral Scholarship Program. That scholarship opportunity does come with potentially a full cost of tuition, all the way up to full cost of attendance scholarship, as well as a cohort program. So it's something really special, a gem at Ohio State, and it is where the world changers really start and are able to do things on our campus. Our honors and scholars programs allow you to make the university feel a little bit smaller. Honors is more of that academic experience, whereas scholars is based around a theme and activities that you'll do outside of the classroom, but you'll live together in the same area, as well as learning communities, a little bit less involved, but still around kind of a similar theme as well, as we do require our students to live on campus for 2 years. Now, where exactly are we? Well, we're in Columbus, Ohio. So if you're thinking about where you are in relation to where we are on this map, you can kind of see just how much closer all of these wonderful cities are and kind of what opportunities you have whenever you're considering going all the way to the Midwest. But the neat thing about Columbus, Ohio is we are the state capital of Ohio. We are also the 15th largest city. So you're getting the best of both worlds kind of with a really manageable sized urban environment, only a 15-minute drive from our college, that traditional college campus vibe. So you can get everything that you need just right on campus there. There's even a Target right across the street. But as long as you take the COTA buses, you can get along south to the financial district and get to the state capitol. There's over 109 different languages spoken, plenty of cultural fests. We are a very accepting city as well. We have one of the top 10 largest pride parades in the country. Again, we're only 15 minutes to the airport. There's plenty of great places to eat. The North Market, if you've ever heard of Jenny's Ice Cream, they are headquartered in Columbus as well. We're getting one in San Diego, and I could not be more excited enough. But speaking of some of the traditions that we have at campus, we love to spell Ohio. So that's something to kind of keep in mind, that you will definitely know how to spell that afterwards. And just a quick overview of our application. Biggest thing I'll share for students is to apply by November 1st for full consideration for scholarship. I'll leave my contact information in the chat, and that's all I got.
Thank you very much. And I would like to invite all of our reps back on cameras with their microphones on. We'll do a quick little, I'll play talk show host. We'll do a quick little Q&A here and have you respond in the same order that you presented. And it's great value-added stuff for not only our attendees who are live, but those who are accessing this on-demand video. So the first question will be, what one piece of advice would you give someone going through the college search process right now? We'll start with the University of Nebraska.
Probably my biggest piece of advice would really just to be not to over stress about it. You have plenty of time to make your decisions. So this is a great time to start. Slowly start making that Excel document or however you want to, sort through your schools. But you don't need to freak out about, exactly which school you're focusing on right now. You'll slowly make that decision as you go throughout and figure out what's important to you, and as you make your visits and get to talk to more of the schools in depth. So don't freak out is my main component here that I'm trying to get at. It'll come along with time.
Penn State.
Mine sounds boring after that one, but I would agree. But I would say, most importantly, just keep track of deadlines. A lot of schools, the earlier you apply, the better your chances are. So get your top 5-10 schools and make sure you know those deadlines and get your applications in ahead of time so that you're not worried last minute and you can enjoy your senior year.
University of Minnesota.
I would say that my piece of advice would be to reach out to your admissions counselors. There's folks like us at every school, and our job is to work with you throughout the entire admissions process. So don't be shy, even if you're just introducing yourself, or ask us those questions you have. We're happy to help.
Michigan State.
I would say take advantage of the virtual options that are available to you. I know, you're looking at all out-of-state institutions if you're listening to the six of us talk about our schools. And so, I think one of the benefits of being in this virtual setting are that we've all had to step up our game when it comes to virtual programming, access to different professors or faculty members, you have more opportunities to be involved. So especially for our rising seniors, take advantage of the opportunity to visit and take a look at more institutions virtually.
Iowa.
I'm going to go a different direction. I think you should also think about all your extracurricular activities that you're potentially involved with right now. If you haven't started an activity resume, go ahead and do that. Many of our schools will not maybe require, but might be needed for an honors application or for a scholarship application. So if you can get a head start now, and it's a nice summer project to accomplish.
Ohio State.
I'll say try not to compare yourself to the next person, to your peers. Your process is an individual one. It's one that's only for you, and you might end up in a very unique place that fits you best. So just try to remember that, and you have to do what's best for you.
Well, we have time for a second question here, and I think some of you already touched on this, but it'll be worth repeating, and that is, what is your favorite event or tradition on campus? And we'll start again with University of Nebraska.
I'm gonna have to go a little basic here, but football game days, they're quite fun. The fall is a pretty exciting time to be on campus. It's really beautiful on campus. So that's great, but the Sea of Red is what they call it. It's pretty big, and the Memorial Stadium actually holds enough people that it's the third largest city in Nebraska on game days. So it's definitely a pretty exciting time to be on campus.
Penn State.
I'll go with our blue and white game, which is where our Penn State faces Penn State in the spring. It's like our spring practice session, but it is a open day where fans can come in and not have to pay for a ticket for a game at at Beaver Stadium. And it has a lot of activities, a lot of alumni come in, a lot of students that have friends coming up to visit. So it just becomes a really great community, and it's a really fun event in the spring right before finals. It just happened last week. Only first year students were allowed in our stadium due to regulations, but they still had a great time. And we're hoping by next year we can go back up to full speed.
University of Minnesota.
My favorite tradition or event on campus is our spring jam. It's basically, homecoming, but in the spring. So when it starts to thaw out, the weather's starting to get nice again, and we bring basically a carnival to campus with rides, food vendors, and we have a series of concerts where it's all the way from Battle of the Bands for our student artists up to bringing big names like Lizzo into our football stadium. So it's a blast, just a nice way for students to let loose before they buckle down for finals.
Michigan State.
So I don't know if we'll go with tradition, but my favorite place on campus is going to be the MSU dairy store. So we have our own dairy farm on campus. Actually, could be a tradition. We've started doing research so that to see if cows can relieve stress, kind of like doing goat yoga. We're seeing if our students can go love on some cows during finals, and if that will relieve stress. But then we, of course, make our own milk, cheese, and ice cream on campus. And so if something cool is happening on campus, usually there is a good chance you're going to get an ice cream named after you.
Iowa.
Until about 4 years ago, ours was Dance Marathon, which is really important to a lot of our campuses to fundraise. It's the largest student organization to fundraise for us, the kiddos across the river in our children's hospital. But that was overcome by this past couple of years by like what I mentioned there with the wave at the end of the first quarter. Everything about it is right. So and very organic as well.
Ohio State.
For us, it's something I like to call the Buckeye Hello. So it's a fun party trick. If you ever see a Buckeye or something Ohio State, call out to them, say OH, and they will respond back IO. It's a way to feel a sense of campus and feel a sense of Buckeye pride, no matter how far you are. I get it a couple of times around Southern California, and it always makes me feel close to Columbus and close to the people that I miss.
Well, thank you all for sharing your favorite campus traditions and the advice about the college search process. And of course, thank you for sharing all of the great information about each of your schools. I want to thank our attendees for joining us. When you close this window, there'll be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions being hosted. Be sure to sign up for more at the same place you signed up for this one. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other session recordings at strivescan.com/RMACAC. Once again, thank you to all of our presenters for sharing great information. Thank you for joining us. Have a great rest of your Thursday.